welcome everyone to our week in review for the week of July 11 to 15, 2022, where we're going to be taking a look at the market as usual every Monday. We'll take a look at what is happening in the different markets, mainly the Forex market. Okay, so how did the week close last and what are we expecting for this week? Like I said in my last video, if you have questions, you have instrument that you trade that I don't talk about in my sessions or that I'm not sharing today, please do well to let me know, and I'll be more than willing to do that with you in the coming video. All right, so let's go. We usually start with the economic calendar, and I love to use XM economic calendar. How do I get there? I go up and I click on research and education, and under research and education, under research, I have economic calendar, and that's what I just opened now. By the way, XM is an international broker. It is XM Global, an international broker where a well-regulated broker where you can learn to where you can do your trading right. A lot of instruments for you. You can trade the stock market, indices, the Forex market, the cryptocurrency. A lot of them. We have thousands of stock that you can trade with this broker. So if you're looking for a very good broker that you want to trade with, please do not hesitate to do that by using the link below this video. You can look at the narration part or the detailed part of the video below, and you're going to see a link that tells you how to get registered and start trading a live account. Okay, so let's go on without much ado. Let's go on filter. I'm going to filter this for only the one with higher level of importance. If you look at this, you see importance: 1 bull, 2 bulls, 3. The one with 3 bulls is showing the highest level of impact on the market. So I'm going to use that to have an idea of what is happening. And this is holiday season. You see that almost everywhere there is holiday today, yesterday Sunday, and today Monday. All right, the Muslim Eid al-Adha also, right? Eid al-Adha celebration. Okay, so we have that, and in some places, we also still have holiday tomorrow, right? So interesting. So, but from tomorrow, okay, even today, Monday, we're expecting news on British pound. BOE Governor Bailey's speech. We're expecting that by 3:15 p.m. GMT +1. And tomorrow, we're expecting high impact news on Euro, USD, and British pound. All right, USD is short-term energy outlook. That's what we're going to be looking at. Economic sentiment for German ZEW for Euro. Okay, this one usually have some impact on the market as well. And then from Wednesday is when we have plenty of expected news in the different major currencies. NZD, British pound, USD, Canadian dollar. We're all expecting high impact news from them. Gross domestic product, GDP, manufacturing production for GBP as well. Monthly GDP, a lot on GDP for GBP. It sounds like, right? Then Canadian dollar, we're expecting the monetary policy report, interest rate decision, and BOC press conference for Canadian dollar. USD, we're expecting the crude oil inventory and core CPI. For NZD, we're expecting the RBNZ interest rate decision, which usually have a lot of impact on the market. Expectation is 2.5%, increase of 50 basis points from the 2% that we have there before. So let's see how this has effect on the market. If that increase happens, perhaps I have been looking at bearish move with AUD and ZD. So if that happens, there's an increase, because of this increase expected, perhaps I will continue to look at that expectation of increase in the strength of NZD. Okay, then on Thursday, we also are expecting some news, Aussie and USD, and then on Friday, The major currency there is US dollar, core retail sales, initial jobless claim on Thursday. So plenty of news expected this week after the holidays. Monday, Tuesday, there's still holiday in different places around the world. So we may not have very strong movement today, but then it is expected that this is going to continue to move when the, within the week, within this week. So now we have on the chart, let's take a look at how the market has closed last week. So I'm going to change this to the weekly time frame, and I'm going to use just the 50 moving average on my chart. So on the weekly, what do we have? A bullish candle closing last week. It leaves with a wick above it, but it's still bullish. So I expect to see pullback and continuation. That's what I am expecting. The trend is bullish for USD. The direction hasn't changed yet. We can see some correction here and there, but the direction remains bullish. The day has started, the week has started, and it is all still looking bullish. Okay, so having that in mind, let's see how we're going to trade other currencies. I have the BTC, Bitcoin. I was looking at short-term buy last week. I did some short-term buy, I think on Thursday, Friday. It's moved up a little bit. And then today it is looking like it is beginning to go down again. So basically we are inside of a range. It's consolidating. The question is this consolidation going to break to the upper side and continue to go up? Or is it going to break to the bottom and push all the way down? So what I'll do is highlight and begin to wait to see what direction this is going to go to. So we have this. So this is ranging, it's inside of this range. For me to expect a sell now, I would look to see a break below here. And why is that? Okay, so I would like you to look at, let's see, on the weekly again, getting back to the weekly, look at what the kind of movement we have there. When we see these two bearish engulfing candles, what happens? The week begins to consolidate like we have right now. It consolidates for like 3 weeks, and then we have this break below. So now, my expectation before was that perhaps I would see deeper correction to the upper side before it continues, but it is possible that it continues from here. So that's why I'm highlighting that area and seeing what are we going to see, where is this heading to. So from the lower time frame, if I see it below that range, then of course I'll be looking for a sell. All right. If it then goes above the range, I would look for pullback, but the major direction still remains bearish for me for now, until it changes. But now what we're seeing is bearishness. This support has been broken to the bottom. It is ranging now. It ranged here before it broke here. It's ranging now tightly, just the way it's ranged there. So is this going to follow what happened here where it only ranged a little bit and broke down? Or is this going to pull back up again? For now, what are we seeing on the shorter time frame? It is still down. Okay, the direction is all still pointing down. See, it's below my moving averages on the 1 hour. How about on the 4 hour? Below the 50 moving average as well. All right, but still more inside of the range. So depending on how you trade it, if you like short-term intraday trade, all good and fine. If you like long-term trade like me, more of mid-term to long-term trade, then I will want to wait to see what direction this is going. Okay, so that's what we have for now on BTC. Let's quickly take a look at gold. Gold, I'm going to start that with daily as well. It looks a lot bearish. This is a big bearish move. I love to trade the head and shoulders pattern. And if you look into this part of the chart, let's use the pen tool to highlight that area for you. What do we see? We have head and shoulders pattern. And this got broken going. Now it's around the support. I would prefer to see a pullback and continuation. Pullback may be really short, but then it is also possible that it's going to just continue to the next support. All right. So the question is, how do I enter? At what point do I enter? This looks bullish, and I'm expecting that this bullishness is going to get to the next support. Where is the next support? Okay. Sorry, not bullishness. bearishness, sorry. Okay, so this bearishness, I'm expecting that it gets toward this next support, which is around the 1685.86. Okay, now the question is it going to retrace before it comes there? I prefer to see retracement, but it depends on you. You may not want to wait for pullback. You probably just want to enter and go. It all depends on what kind of trader you have, what your entry rules are. US oil, crude oil, let's take a look at that. The major direction is up. Last week candle closed bearish candle, but pointing up with a wick below it. My bias on this is bullishness. I expect that maybe we can see some bearishness this week, but likely going to continue bullish again. So bias major direction still up. Something may happen that will continue to push it down, but the major direction for me is up. However, for now, it is coming down. So what do we do? Depending on what kind of trader you have, some people will still be able to find short-term trade. However, short-term, yes, if I'm looking to do intraday trade, perhaps going to the support, but then I'm paying attention and seeing how does this break out at the end of the day. Is it going to break to the bottom or is it going to break to the upper side? So maybe I would have like a trend line on this side that I'm looking at. So if it breaks the upper side of it, I'll look for going bullish. If it remains below it, I put in my entry rules, may look for a sell as well. It even looks like we have like head and shoulders here. So this has broken below the neckline. It has retraced. If it's going to continue down, if it does, then we look for a sell. USD Canadian dollar. Let's go back to our weekly time frame. In fact, I'm going to like to look at this one from the monthly. So let's start from the monthly. Sometimes it's a good thing to look at it from the monthly. That will give us a clearer view of what is happening. By the way, I'm using the free of this one because I just used few indicators, okay? All right, so what am I seeing on the weekly, on the monthly? Well, it is a little bit bullish, but the major direction is still down. So I'm paying attention to that. What is going to happen? Is that going to break above the resistance of the last three, of the last 2 months? Now, this is what we have. There's a resistance somewhere here. If I see a break above that resistance, it's a long-term buy for me. Maybe not be so much of long-term, but at least on the weekly, I'll be expecting that this would be my expected take profit, first take profit, which is at where? 1.3379. Okay, so I'm 300 pips away from where it is or higher. So a break above the resistance will be a good indicator or indication for me to go bullish on this. So I'm paying attention to the maybe the end of this week will help us judge better. But from lower time frame, I'm still bullish on this, by the way. If it turns and changes direction and begins to sell, well, I may change my direction to bearishness. But my bias on this looks bullish. And well, it all depends on how you trade this. There's a V pattern here, retracement, and maybe this is going to continue a little bit. So let's see what happens with this. If there's a breakout above the 1.3065, that would be a good indication for me to look for a buy. Let's go on. Euro USD. This one has been pointing all the way down. How did last week close? Last week closed bearish with an engulfing bearish candle below the supports. Pullback, when is this going to happen? That's the question, but the major direction is still pointing down. Where do I find entry? Well, it depends on how I look at it. For now, I probably would want to wait and see whether there's going to be an opportunity for a pullback for me to find entry. But what are we saying? This is going to all-time low. This is going to a very long-term low. The last time the price had been around this area was when 2022, 20 years ago, is the last time we've seen the price around where it is now, heading to 1-to-1, and it may go lower. So if this is going to go lower, interesting. Let's see how we trade it. So for now, it's going bearish. Some people would still find a way to enter, to go with the flow and by selling, but the major direction is down. And we all know too, from what is happening around the world, geopolitics, we know that there is there is a war that is not really set yet between Russia and Ukraine, and this is having effect on euro. All right. Let's move on. GBP USD. What do we have here? Also very bearish. It's around the major support now on the monthly. You see, this has been touched a couple of times. Touched around where 2016, 2016. Here 2019 again. Then it's tried to go below it in 2020 February, but it couldn't close below. It closed back above. It is back there now. The question is this going to bounce from here and start buying? I wouldn't want to sell yet. Also, I will wait for the buy. But I may go to lower time frame and find an opportunity. So because it's on a major support, we can see pullback. Even if that support is going to be broken, we may see some pullback. So that I pay attention. It's a zone anyway, so we look at it all. It may still go down a little more, looking at it from the weekly. So the question is, are we going to buy or sell? It's still, the direction is still all the way down, but we may find a buy anytime soon. So buyers on this, I would wait. So either if I'm going to go short term now, maybe looking for a sell down to the support, or wait to see a bounce back to look for a buy. So that's it for Aussie USD. Major direction on most of the USD pair. USD is really strong around this period. Most of the major direction with them is bearish. See, look at this. This one has like head and shoulder pattern of the weekly, and that has been broken to the bottom side, and it is continuing. So this may go all the way down to this support here. All right. Let's see if I'm going to use the head and shoulder pattern to make a decision on where this is going. Let's see. We may have this. So I pick up that pattern and I put it down here, and I'll be expecting that it goes toward the 0.6 to 0.602 area, right? That would be the expectation, it to fulfill the full head and shoulders pattern, but it could go halfway or even quarter and continue its way up. So attention will be paid to that, but bias bearishness for now. NZD USD looking all bearish as well. All of the USD pairs, the pairs, the ones pairing with USD, they all look a lot bearish right now. USD JPY looking bullish, still indicating the strength of US dollar. And that one, my bias remains bullish on that, at least in the long term. Why? Look at this big, massive inverted head and shoulder that we have here. Got broken to the upside some 3 months ago. Last month remains bullish above this next resistance. Interesting. So I saw a resistance here and I was saying, maybe we're going to see pullback there, but what do we see? There was a break above the resistance and it's still going up. Yen there's no serious intervention, monetary policy intervention, government intervention to make yen strong. So USD remains really strong against it. USD CHF, what do we have? Well, also consolidating, but it's still all pointing up. Bearishness was what we saw last 2 months. Why? Because we saw this unexpected increase in interest rates for CHF, and that made it a little bit strong. So compared to other ones, we saw some movement to the downside last month, okay? And now what are we seeing this month? It's looking like the bullishness is going to continue. Let's go look at it on the weekly. How did last week close? Classical bullish, all right. This had broken above this resistance of this range that we have here. It retraced up and it's still pointing up. My bias on this is still bullish in the long term. USD South African rand, let's take a look at that as well. Bullish, last candle at close bullish, pullback and continuation to the upside would be a good one, but the major direction remains bullish for this one as well. Now let's go look at some Euro pairs. Euro, AUD. I did some sell at some points, but 2 weeks ago, last week, last week, was able to do some sell. Good one. My bias remains bearish on this one. But guess what? I want to see some pullback a little bit, maybe early this week, for me to find a perfect entry, because my bias remains barely bearish on that as well. So pullback entry is it for me. For you, make a decision based on what you prefer, how you prefer to trade. Euro Canadian dollar, very bearish. Strong bearishness. This month is already really bearish. Last week, let's see how it closed. Last week closed bearish as well. And you would see that we have a range here. You see, we have a range here which got broken last week. Maybe seeing a small correction and continuation would be a good one. But on the body of the candle of last week, there's a little bit of correction there. But this is continuing. I still feel we may have an opportunity for a pullback before the continuation down. So let's see. Euro yen. Euro yen closed bearish last week, but the major direction is still pointing up. So this week, it may continue up. It may also come a little more to the downside, but let's see. All right, it's bullish on the monthly as well. This month has been bearish, and we may see a continuation to the upside anytime soon. My bias in this is bullish. We may see some movement down, but the major direction remains bullish for me on Euro NZD. Euro yen was what I just explained, but for Euro NZD, last week at close bearish, the major direction is bearish. This moved down, this corrected, and we have been having lower lows and lower highs. This had moved up higher than the last high too, but what do we see next? Another lower low. Now we have a movement up. If this continue, I have a support here. If that support gets broken to the downside, even from a lower time frame, like for her, I'll be looking for a sell. Bias, sell. Bias is bearish on this because of the way the last candle has closed, and because of the assertion I see with all the 4 or 5 weeks before this time, when, yes, they were moving up, but what are we seeing? All the candles have long wick above them. The body kept closing below. So now having a big bearish candle that had come all the way to the support of all of these plenty bullish candles, then I expect that this is going to continue down. However, I would also like to see some correction before the full continuation to the downside. Euro British pound, this one got bearish last week. Now, I was looking at this as being bullish for some time. Why? Because I had a drop below my 50 moving average, which was serving like dynamic support for the market from this 2020, 2021. It closed below it in 2021 January, and since then it has remained below the 50 moving average. But recently we saw that it moved up above the 50 moving average, and it went up for quite a while. But now what do we see again? Last it closed with a massive closing candle, a bearish candle. So my bias on this remains bearish, and this is one of the reasons, because if you look at it on the monthly, it didn't even go to close above the 50 moving average at all. It moved above the 50, but it didn't close above it on the monthly. So this remains bearish for me, looking at it from higher time frame. It may change direction, all good and fine, but that's what I see on higher time frame. So let's look at 2, 3 more before we call it a day. British pound AUD. Okay, so I'm going to remove this. I'm going to remove. So British pound AUD, what are we saying? Monthly, it looks bearish, but ranging at the moment. So let's go look at it on weekly time frame. On weekly time frame, we see that range around the support. So the question is it going to point up, move and begin to go bullish, or is it going to break to the bottom? So I have this range highlighted, and my highs are on this. If it breaks to the bottom of the range or below the support, that's a sell for me. And I like that because I'm seeing head and shoulder pattern building up on the higher time frame, the weekly, monthly, the pattern is obvious. And this is the support, this is the neckline. If it gets broken to the bottom side, that would be a sell for me. More long-term, mid-term sell, okay? GBP, Canadian dollar, all looking bearish as well. Last candle closed bearish, but like an indecision candle. Let's see, maybe we are around a major support. Well, it looks like the support we had here was broken to the bottom side, but now we are around another major support. So it's a zone. It may stop where it is, or it still has some time to go lower a little more before it continues. But the major direction is down, but you would see that the candles are getting smaller by the day, the bearish candles. So we are approaching a major support, and we would see a move to the upside anytime soon. So that's what I feel, a major support approaching, which could indicate bearishness anytime soon. GBP NZD also consolidating. On the monthly, I see consolidation. What do we have on the weekly? Consolidation as well, but my bias remains bearish on this. So if I see a break below the support, it will be a sell for me. GBP-CHF also looking bearish. Last week candle at close a little bit bullish because it hit the support and then it bounces. Is it going to go up a little more this week? Maybe we would see some more correction, deeper correction to the upper side before it continues down. But what do we have? Looking at it from more higher time frame, weekly, the major direction still points down. Lastly, let's take a look at AUD-NZD. AUD-NZD has been bullish for quite some time, but it's around the resistance now, and that place keeps getting rejected. So the question is this going to break to the bottom side and continue to go down, or is it going to go up? I'm expecting to see some level of correction here or movements to the downside. So let's see what happened. My bias in the short term, let's see the last week, how did it close? Okay, so it's consolidating around the resistance. A movement to the downside with my entry rules fulfilled will mean a sell for me, all right? However, last week candle at close bullish. So if for any reason this week you continue to go up and I see a close above my 1.109 area, then it will mean a buy for me. So that is what I am able to cover today in the weekly review. Thank you for joining me. If you like to learn how to trade, you want a coach that is going to hold you by the hand and help you learn to do trading right from basic through advanced level of trading, you want to reach out as soon as possible. There's a WhatsApp number on the detail below the video. Please send a chat from there and I'll be more than willing to guide you through. Hold you by the hand, walk with you every step of the way to let you do trading right, okay? And like I mentioned earlier, the broker that you may decide to register with, I also have the link on the side. I work, by the way, on part-time with XM as one of the trading instructors, and you may want to take advantage of the opportunity to join our free session every single day. All right, take care and have a beautiful week ahead of you.